cross our fingers. There we go. I am awful with this technology as well, Shirley. You know that?
Well, not quite as bad as me, darling, but
I saw you with Danny a couple of days ago, really giving it a go, trying to sort out your your life.
Yes, he's always trying to sort me out. It's rather hilarious, actually.
Do you know what? I find the two of you hilarious. You're so funny on your Instagrams, you two.
That's because we're learning. We've got a guy called Harry that helps us with TikTok and everything else that we're trying to do. And I'm trying.
Are you on TikTok now as well?
Well, attempting the TikTok.
I just started the TikTok thing as well. It's a little bit confusing, but I think I'll get there in the end.
What have you been up to? What are you doing?
Well, I am, because Aliash and I moved in here about a year and a half ago, almost less than a year and a half. And I've just not been home. I've been doing tour after tour and then Strictly. So I've not really had time to settle in and you know, pick all the decorations and reorganize. So I'm kind of in this like Marie Kondo world of redoing all the different parts of the house. Today, I brought out all the patio furniture. I cleaned it. I set it up nicely because it's a beautiful day today. Yeah.
We've been in the garden all day. So we decided when it's a nice day, we'll go outside and we'll do weeding and gardening and things I don't normally do. So that was fun today.
And how is it? You've not lived there for long either in your new house, have you?
Well, I only moved back here in June last year. So I'm the same as you.
Yeah.
I'm going round. I don't have cake tins and I don't have a wine opener and, you know, just things that you realize you don't because we're never home.
Yeah, you're never home. You're constantly on the go.
Yeah.
And how is Danny? Is he well?
He's just taking the dog for a walk. But, you know, Danny and I, we met and we started dating last March. But we only saw each other one day a week. Remember, I told you.
Yeah.
Now we're confined to 24/7 Saturdays.
Has that changed anything?
Well, you know, you have to learn. I mean, I'm a little bit set in my ways. I have my own system, like most people, you know. But yeah, absolutely fine. It's fine.
And he adores you. You could just see, I don't know, you could just see how much he adores you whenever you guys are together. And the same for you to Kim. You just have such a lovely connection, the two of you. It's so nice to see.
Well, we're trying. Tomorrow we'll be on this morning. We'll be doing what you did last week.
Okay.
And I've taught Danny a little dance. You know, he's a beginner, but I've taught him.
What dance? What style?
Well, I think it's I want to dance with somebody is the music. So I've just done, you know, like movement to music. I haven't specifically tied it down, but I've given him a little trick, you know, the little sit trick where I have to trust him. And if he's not there, I'm going to fall.
You're doing tricks and everything, so you really trust him.
We try.
What time is that tomorrow so everybody can tune in?
I think we're on around about 12 o'clock, I think, with Holly.
Oh, with Holly. Amazing. I'll make sure to tune in and watch. So, Shirley, I know me and you on tour had the most amazing conversations every day. I missed them. We always sat down, didn't we, during lunch and just caught up. And it was so nice. And I thought, gosh, I want to do that again. So I'm so glad that you were able to do this tonight. Thank you so much.
Oh, coming. You're welcome.
Yeah. And I was reading up on you. And I mean, I knew a lot about you, but I really kind of went into and researched you a little bit more. And my gosh, you've literally won everything in the book that exists. I mean,
well, what?
No, I said, how does that, I mean, how do you, I mean, to tell your kids, your friends and your loved ones that you are literally a world champion. You've won all over the world.
Well, the first time that I won when I got my break at 17 and then I won the championships, the youngest person to ever do that when I was about 19.
Yeah.
That was kind of like a meteoric rise. So that was from somebody who was in the 96, you know, not doing so well. I got this opportunity to turn professional with Sammy Stopford, and it was just a meteoric rise. And then of course when Sammy and I split in 1983 and I got with Corky, he was a restaurateur and he was a beginner. So
I know, I read that. He was pro-am, wasn't he? He was just doing pro-am comps.
But just like they do on Strictly, you know, the professional and the amateur.
Yeah.
So he was the amateur. And I moved, I left because I wanted to take a break, and I thought I'd fallen in love with somebody else, and realized after 6 months I did want to dance.
You did.
And that was a struggle. So I won in 1983, and then it took till 1996 to win again.
I saw that. It's a long time.
Well, with two different partners, and beating my ex-husband.
That was the best. That was the best award, wasn't it?
Well, I think when I left, everybody thought, you know, she's not going to amount to anything. She's given up this, that, and the other, and it just proves that you can do whatever you set your mind to do, really, because that was against all the odds. And I have written everything down, so hopefully by the end of the year, people will be able to read that journey.
I was just going to ask you, if you're going to write a book, because I mean, it's quite a story. And I was seeing your mother and you, Audrey, you're very, very close to her. And it seems like she was such a driving force and such a support system for you throughout your whole life. And she's obviously still very involved in your life now. Well, obviously not right now with Corona, but you're very close to her, aren't you?
Well, let me tell you, first of all, I'm very close to her, but let me tell you the miraculous thing that happened yesterday. You know, as you know, my mother has cancer, but she has an iPhone. And I did one of these like you're doing now, split screen. I just learned to do it. And the next thing I know, she comes up on the split screen and requests. So I was able to talk to her. Danny and I were able to talk to her on a split screen yesterday. 83 years of age. I'm telling you, to anybody out there who doesn't think they can do it. It was such an iconic moment. I got so excited, I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, I can imagine 83-year-old mama going on live Instagram.
I mean, that's too much. So I can talk to her every day via WhatsApp.
That's good.
As with my son in the United States. So that's really a godsend.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been quite a journey really with her. I mean, single parent, and, you know, my mother's not a tactile person. She's very strict. She's very firm, and she says it as it is, you know, it's a bit old school. But I wouldn't have her any other way. You know, there's no smimey or, you know, you're great when you're not. There's none of that, you know.
It was a bit of tough love, but in the best possible way. Tough love.
It was definitely tough love, that's for sure. But I couldn't be any closer to her if I tried. So
I love it. Because even your profile picture is a photo of Mark, your son, and Audrey. It's amazing. But you know, when you won all these championships, the only word that comes to mind to me is hard work. Because you worked really, really hard. I mean, these things didn't just happen to you. You're someone that went in. I mean, you took buses, you took trains, you moved to other parts of the country to dance with your partner. It wasn't easy. It didn't just happen, did it?
No, it was a very, very difficult journey, and I refer to it when I write about it as swimming upstream. So I wouldn't say it's been the easiest journey ever for myself. But good work ethic, which I've always had, not frightened to go out there and go the extra mile.
Yeah, of course.
100% dedicated to your craft. You have to be. There can't be any sidetracking. You know, particularly when I did it the second time round, and I just started to do well with Corky, and then I got pregnant. So it just always seemed like obstacles were thrown in the way. And then, but you just have to keep persevering to get where you want to go, really.
You've got to just keep pushing through, you know, seeing the bigger picture of everything, really.
Yeah, and that's not just about dance. It's about anything and everything you do, whether you're an actress.
This circumstance that we're in right now, I mean, this is why I started doing all these live chats, because I just thought we could bring a bit of open conversation and connection with one another. And this is, for a long time, social media has been seen as such a negative thing. I've always believed that social media could also be very positive. It just depends what you take from it and how you give to it. And right now, thanks to this, social media has really changed the world for keeping people together. There's live dance classes, there's painting, there's singing, there's cooking, you can do everything now in social media. So and your mom can do it as well.
Well, I think it's the way of the world. I think this whole coronavirus is going to change the way many things are operated. Mm-hmm. You know, like if you take, and you did it last week, we go on with Holly and Phil, and that's all from home on an iPhone.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm going to connect with them and connect with everybody else, sending in their videos, their dance videos. You know, we get to connect with people.
Yeah. But like you were saying about always seeing the bigger picture, in this situation, a lot of people are very frustrated. They feel very lonely. They don't know what's going to happen. It's such unprecedented times. But you just stayed, like you said Just keep focused, keep being positive, keeping a good mental health, communicating with loved ones. We will get out of this in a better way, I think.
I think it's like you said, you have to wake up in the morning with some sort of mission. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a list writer, so I write my list the night before.
Check them
Oh,
out.
for sure. Because I suffer with anxiety, so I have to have my list done the night before, and then I stick to it. So if I'm doing a workout from 9:30 to 11, that's what it is.
Yes.
And then you have your coffee, and then you got, like today I chose to do all gardening, did the washing, changed the bed, out in the garden, and then came in to get ready for you, and everything runs for me by a list, really.
Yeah, yeah. They say it's a top word that keeps coming up, and it's routine. Having a routine to look forward to every day when you wake up in the morning.
You absolutely have to have that. And for people also that are in apartments or flats like I was when I was with my mother, we didn't have any outdoor space, and very, very small space. But it doesn't take a lot of space to work out. It doesn't take a lot of space to get on live Instagram with you. Or
yeah, it doesn't. No. And I do. I'm doing every day at 2 p.m. I do my little ballet and workouts and stuff. And
I see it. It's great.
Thank you. But I do it more than anything because I need motivation sometimes as well. Because I'm a human being. Some days are harder than others, but I feel like if I put that to my task, my daily thing, 2 o'clock, no matter what, I go and I do my workout. I just feel better. I feel like I wake up in the morning and I've got something going on. And then in the evenings, I do my chats. And it's that routine that kind of gets you through the days and makes you look forward to those little things the next day as well.
And don't you find, because you've made the list and everything, that your day is going much quicker, and the meaning and the purpose and the connecting? I've connected with more people on Instagram than I've had a ball doing these live things. Of course, we're learning, Danny and I, but we've had a ball. Some of the questions, the personal questions, we do try to answer them all, you know. So it's quite fascinating, really. But that's a bit, and you don't have to have a cha-cha-cha or a samba or anything like that. You just move to music, put your earphones in, just get your heart rate up, you know, if you're healthy enough to do that.
Yeah, but
And
you're right. Staying moving, staying in a routine, connecting with loved ones. I think there is so much that we can do, so we never feel lonely or that we can't move around in the flat. I need to ask you, because a lot of people have sent in that question. Where were you, and how did the Strictly phone call come in? How did that come about?
well, when the call actually came in after I'd done the audition, where did it come in? I was in the United States. I was teaching in the ballroom, and I saw Louise's name come up on my phone, and I answered it. And after several interviews, because I didn't do well in the first interview, she said to me, we'd like to offer you the job. And I, 57 years of age, have always had a good job teaching, traveling, doing this. But to get a second job of something that you really love, because my children were on Dancing with the Stars for 22
yeah,
seasons.
We need to talk about that in a second. I can't
wait. So I just fell to my knees. I couldn't believe it. I never thought it was possible of a woman of my age to get a job that was, so just beautiful and so in the realm of what I love. So yeah.
Well, I mean, you are like an extraordinary judge. You judge everywhere in the world. So, I mean, I think it's quite fitting to have you as the head judge on the show. And Queen of Latin, was that something that came up from Strictly?
No.
Have you been called that before?
Alan Grundy. Remember Alan Grundy, the hairdresser?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he gave me that title when he was about 17. He was a student of mine. And then, of course, he lived with me for a long time with his husband. And he's always called me that. So that's where it came from. Just that simple. He said, you're a bit like the Madonna. I think I'll call you the Queen of Latin.
Yes.
And it kind of stuck,
It's quite fitting, I have to say, for sure. And so have you enjoyed it? I mean, you've had the most amazing couple of years now. You've also done the Strictly Live tour. Are you enjoying it? Are you loving it?
I can't even express from my heart how I feel. I've met more people than I've met a lot of people before, but on the Strictly tours and on Strictly, you meet more people, you get to converse with them. And I have to say, it's been a highlight of my life. If I died tomorrow and didn't do the job again, I would take those memories forever, and friendships that I've made, and chats with you on the tour, and everything else that we get to do. And I think that I'm humbled and I'm grateful. And for anybody who's on the show, anybody who's leaving the show, I suggest the same thing. Without Strictly, the profiles wouldn't be as lifted as they
Yeah.
are if we didn't have that show. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we can be good at what we do, but the show does immense things for us.
Well,
You know?
it does immense things, I think, even for dancing, because a lot of people now may have never even heard of a paso doble or didn't even know what a Viennese waltz looked like. But now everybody on Saturday as a family, or most people at least, sit down and watch the show and they can point out, oh, that's a paso, or that's a cha-cha, or this is a quick step. In what world could that have worked out that way if it wasn't for a show like Strictly Come Dancing? Do you know?
Well, I think it's been just a stunning experience. Like I said, you're a young girl. I'm twice your age. And it just feels, I just lie there sometimes and I pinch myself and I think, you know, that's amazing that I got the opportunity. Because don't forget, Mark, Derek, and Julianne all got the opportunity to do Dancing with the Stars. Then my ex-husband got the opportunity to also be a professional on the show.
You were waiting for yours.
Well, I was always the one hanging in the sidelines, helping and advising, and I was never the one that really got that opportunity to have a go. And I just thought it was great. I love it.
But you've been absolutely amazing, and I think a lot of people agree. You really, really are an incredible head judge. I love Len. I know Len really well, Len Goodman. He was the head judge before you, and I miss him terribly. But you have just come in and really taken it and made it absolutely incredible in there. You and Motsi and the boys have such a good dynamic. It's so good to watch.
And I think also for your listeners, I think that because I spoke to some people today and they will do anything and everything they can to make sure that that show goes on. Mm-hmm. So although we're in tough times with the coronavirus, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, and I think it will go forward. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I really feel like they will come through.
So for those people that don't know or possibly haven't been aware, you have a son. His name is Mark Ballas. And he is, or was, is he still doing it? A professional in the USA version of Strictly Come Dancing, Dancing with the Stars.
No, he did it for about 20 seasons. And he did it twice, and he was in the final, I think, something like 11 times.
He's
amazing. Primarily a musician, trained at the Italian School of Dramatic Arts in London.
Yes, yes.
So he was here
born here.
From 4 till, wasn't born, he was born in Houston.
Oh, was he? Sorry. Okay,
moved here when he was 4. Moved back to the United States when he was 21.
I see. So he was born and basically raised here in the UK.
Yeah. If he's talking to me, he has an English accent. If he's talking to his dad, it's American.
I see. And I know Mark really well. He's a good friend, and he's always been so kind to me. I remember when I first got my kind of first opportunity to do anything with Dancing with the Stars in the USA, it was Mark that kind of was like, guys, you should have a look at this girl. She's actually really good. So he's just amazing, Mark. But now he's playing with his wife, BC Jean, and they're in a band called Alexander Jean.
That's right. They just released their new album, and it is, I mean, it's amazing. Well, all their albums go to #1 on the singer-songwriter chart, but this album that they've written is their best work to date. So when
I need to have a listen. She's just amazing. But Mark plays the guitar. I mean, he is such a good musician on that guitar. He plays so well. And I didn't really know that until when he joined Burn the Floor. He was a guest dancer on Burn the Floor. He was like the guest star. And he asked to play the guitar on a song that I was dancing in called Burn For You. And when I heard him play for the first time, I was blown away. And now he's gotten even better. He's just an amazing musician, really. And BC's voice is phenomenal.
Well, she wrote the song If I Were a Boy for Beyonce. So she's a seasoned singer-songwriter. And Pitch Perfect movies, you know, she's got songs on that and what have you. So she's a very, very gifted musician. And they're both gifted in their own ways. And as a unit, they're amazing.
But that's why they work so well together. And, you know, they have well, obviously they're married, so they have such a beautiful chemistry. But then they also kind of bring such different elements into the whole thing. So I can't wait to hear it. And then
he did an Instagram post where he's playing the guitar, like you said, and then somebody else is tap dancing, and they've done it in a split screen. So, I mean, I'd love to learn to do that, you know, so you can dance on one side and Danny dance on the other side. So technology, it just takes a minute.
You've got time now, Shirley. You've got time now to figure out how to do these kind of things on your phone so that you and Danny can give it a go. And then we need to talk about Derek Hough and Julianne Hough. They are, for me, just as smart, just such phenomenal dancers. Derek is on a class act of his own, really. Incredible choreographer, dancer, director, judge, singer, musician. I mean, I've never met someone that can do it all the way that he does it all. But he owes, he moved over to the UK very young age. I think he was 10 when you took him under your wings.
He was 10 and he was 12 or 13, I think.
Yeah. And you kind of brought them into this whole world of musical theater and dancing. And how was that? You must have loved being a mother to them.
Well, I won't say it's easy to raise somebody else's children, but it was definitely a highlight in my life. We got to travel the world. They all became, junior and youth ballroom world champions and Latin champions. Plus they were at the Italia Conti, all three of them trained in all the arts. So we didn't really know which direction they would take. And then they all went away and they did Dancing with the Stars. And from then that was a platform to move where they wanted to go. Yeah. So they've all done well. I'm really proud.
You must be so proud, because they are all, I mean, Julianne as well, with her singing and acting career as well. I mean, they all did Dancing with the Stars, but then they all found their different avenues that they took, and every single one of them is successful. And I think that's a credit to you. You have to give yourself a tap in the shoulder, because they've done so well for themselves. And please send them all my love, because I adore all of them. Follow all of them. And okay, so recently you had a little bit of a surgery, a procedure done. Tell everybody a little bit about that, because it was quite important one and quite a special one as well.
Well, about 17 years ago, I decided to try to save my marriage. I was going to add breast implants. Mm-hmm. And over the course of those 17 years, I had so many different problems here and there and what have you. But one notably, I was always sick. The flu, cold, this, that. There was always something wrong. And then a lady that used to do my book, she said, I think it could be the breast implants. I didn't think much of it. And then I got that job on Strictly, and I did the show, Who Do You Think You Are? And once that story came out, I realized that I had cancer going back so far in my family. And then, of course, my mother's sister just died. Well, she had cancer, but she actually died of that flesh-eating disease, that parasite that she caught in the hospital. But she had cancer. My mother had cancer. The elder sister died of cancer. The grandparents. Wow.
So it's in the family a lot.
In the family. And then I went for a mammogram, and the lady said to me, you must understand, with breast implants, we can't really see behind the back of the implants. Right. And I just decided it was time to take them out. And it was a difficult decision. I had to find the right doctor, because what people don't know is when you have a breast implant, it's not the implant, it's what grows around it.
Right.
So like a thick piece of steak that grows all the way around.
So it's not as black and white as you think. You can't just go and see anything. Yeah.
The body protects itself, and then all the little things grow from it around your ribs and this and that. I've got all the photographs of what they took out of my chest.
Wow.
If I'd have been shown that when 17 years ago, I never would have done it. Now, I can't tell people what they should do. I'm only specifically talking about myself. Yeah. But I had them removed in October. This is the first time I've not got sick in a whole winter.
Really?
Last year's tour, I was really poorly. We had to stop off in Manchester and get medicine. But no, I've touch wood, been fine. I've had a little nipples are sore, but then they'd removed them and put them back on. So it was a 4.5 hour surgery.
Was it a painful procedure? Did you feel anything? How did it work?
Well, they knock you out, so you're going under general anesthetic for 4.5 hours. And then when you come to, it just takes a minute to come round. But they suggest you take 6 weeks off. I had it done on.
You went straight in. I remember you came in that Saturday to do the show, and I was like, "Are you okay? Should you be here? Bless you." You went straight back in, but you did well on the show. You felt all right.
Well, because I think a lot of it for me, I can only talk for myself, is mental. Yeah. So, you can convince yourself that you're sick. You can convince yourself, I'm not getting whatever. But the mind actually is the strongest tool that we have. Yeah. And I had told my mother before, I only want to be surrounded by people who tell me I can go back to work. I don't want anybody who tells me you shouldn't go back to work. So I just used my mother and Danny. And my mother came down to take care of me. But I do remember going in the car to Strictly on that Saturday morning, 4 days later. And as I tried to move into the car, I looked at my mother like wincing, like in pain. She said, "You made a decision. Get your butt in that car."
There it is, that tough love. She gave it right back. She said, No. Stick to your guns on this.
I took limited painkillers because I didn't want to come across like you know.
I know. Well, you're live on television, and there's, 12 million people that watching you, so you want to be on.
I did surprise myself. Like I said, I've always been known as having a strong mind, but to go back in that much pain, and the minute I came back the next day, I went to bed. I stayed in bed till the following.
Didn't move.
Yeah, so I did rest. It's just that one day that I work.
But the mind is such an incredible thing. I find that you can really get through anything if you convince yourself and you believe in yourself enough. You can push through so much. You did the Kilimanjaro climb, didn't you?
I did the Kilimanjaro climb because
that needed to have been a tough task on the mind as well, body and mind, everything. How was it?
Well, I did it for comic relief, and I did it for men's mental health. As you know, my brother committed suicide. Yeah. So. And it was one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. And I actually didn't know if I could complete it, but I kept holding the fact that I was helping the mental health and my brother. And I carried that with me. And I was the eldest one doing it. And I was actually quite surprised at myself. But I got through it. I mean, learning to not shower and small tent, and you have to pee outside with everybody on the same track.
It's a bit of taking it back to the caveman days.
9 great people. I was with 9 great people, and everybody was very respectful. The men, Dan Walker and Ed Hall, all very respectful. So they turned their backs if you had to pee behind a rock. But at the first few days, I'm such a prude. The first few days I thought, oh, this is too difficult. And I'm holding it. And on the 3rd day, you don't care.
Yeah, you're like, it is what it is. I need to just do it. I need to just
mark your territory. Pee on
And how was that feeling when you got to the top? I mean, you must have felt amazing getting all the way to the top.
It was amazing, but the air is so thin that you can't talk, and it's very difficult, and you can only stay up on the summit for so long.
Right.
Go back down. So, but yeah, it was a milestone for me, and I'm glad that I did it for mental health. Of course, I've always advocated for that since David died 17 years ago. So I was pleased I did it for him. So
no, I remember talking to you right before you went, and you were going to the gym, you were working out, you were getting yourself ready for it. Honestly, it was amazing. I'm going to go to some questions because I know that some of them wanted to ask some questions today. So let's start with, let's see, what have we got for Shirley here? Hold on. Everyone, you've got loads of questions, Shirley. So many people. All right. This is from J. McDon87. What is your favorite part of judging on Strictly?
My favorite part of judging on Strictly is the journey. Is that very, very first show when they're coming from behind the wings, so to speak, and they start that dance and everybody's terrified. And then as it moves up in week 2, week 3, week 4, is to watch not only the journey, but how they're improving and how give 100%, because I truly believe, and I can say this with my hands on the heart, we have the best professionals in the world on our show, for sure.
Yeah, we do, Shirley. Yeah, we do.
I've a lot of them all around the world, whether they're judges or whether they're competitive professionals. But it's that journey. It's just, I mean, if you take the young man that won this year,
Calvin, he was amazing.
Wasn't he supposed to be on the show? And I
think that's why as well people really fell in love with him, because obviously he was so naturally talented, but ultimately was just incredible with choreography and teaching him. So with the two combined, and then the story of never even being on the show to begin with, I think it was such an incredible win. Really, really, really good. Okay, the next question. This is from Haramond. I can't say it. I'm so sorry. Harun Mohammed 24. Hello, Shirley. As you are the queen of Latin, which Latin dance is actually your favorite?
Well, I always tried when I was competing not to have a favorite, because that can be a little bit dangerous. You tend to over practice that one and ignore the other ones.
Right.
But later on in my life, I have to say that the rumba, it's so slow, it's so beautiful, it's so pure, and it's the story. It's a love story. And it's so difficult to dance it so slowly and have some sort of quality about it. But that emotional feeling that you've got. I'd probably say that kind of pips it a little bit for me. But I am a huge fan of all dances, and probably the Viennese waltz in the ballroom as well.
Oh, really? Viennese waltz, yeah.
Well, up until I was 17, which you probably didn't realize, I was primarily a ballroom dancer.
Yes, you danced with a gentleman named Nigel, I think. I read up on that.
Yeah, he was my first fiance, my financial advisor till this day.
Oh, really? So you still keep in touch with him? Amazing.
My life, yeah. If anything happens to me, he takes over everything. Yeah, he's amazing. So, yeah.
So you enjoyed the Viennese? You enjoyed dancing when you did it?
Oh my goodness! And my dream was to dance with Anton de Beck. So I mean, I got.
Well, you kind of did it this year, didn't you? You danced. You did a jive with him in the judges' dance.
I did a jive in the judges' dance, but the Viennese waltz was unique and special.
It was that for a movies week, wasn't it? Or
I think it was movies week. That's right.
I remember your face. You were just.
It was
you were
fabulous.
so happy. Oh, okay. Let's see. What is It says, oh, this is a good one. It's just a fun one. Hello, Shirley. If you had to go on a survival mission in a desert, which judge would you take with you?
Moxie Babusi.
Motsi! She's incredible. Don't you think she did a great job this year? She's so good.
Well, I've known Motsi about 22 years or over 20 years, you know. I've judged her when she used to compete and I was judging. And of course, I was very sad to see Darcy go. I was absolutely just thought she was just the bees. I loved it a bit. And when Motsi got the job, I thought, we're both from the same industry. She knows me. I know her. She's got a wicked sense of humor. I have a wicked sense of humor. And I think that we bounce off each other. But if I had to go on survival skills, I would take that girl with
me. she's because you think you'd be laughing all day and you'd be getting things done. She's quite a power woman as well, isn't she?
Oh, she's a power force. And if you can't find water in the desert, trust me, she'll find it.
She'll find it. That was a really good question. All right. Let me see, because there's a lot of similar ones. Who's your favorite? This is from Olivia. She wants to know, how do you deal with nerves before a show, if you get them? Do you get nervous?
I absolutely. And when I did the show at the very, very start, when I had to do the samba on, do you remember?
Yeah.
Samba in high heels and a Latin dress that I had not worn since 1996. And I can remember all the sweat coming down my back before I went on.
I knew something was wrong because you were very quiet, and you're normally not quiet. You're like super focused.
Super focused. I thought, oh my goodness, what if the heel goes? What if I fall over? You know, all these things because you haven't competed for so long. Right. But every time when I go on, there's always those butterfly feelings and those nerves because I want to do the best for the public. Yeah. And I want the best by the celebrity and the professional. I understand that you've worked all week. I understand how much hard work. And then in the space of 15 seconds, I have to critique your...
I know. It's a very tough job. And being head judge especially, you have to make some big decisions sometimes. So it's a very tough job. So of course I can imagine you get nervous. But how do you do anything specifically to calm yourself down, or you just kind of go with it?
I breathe. I do a lot of breathing. I'm aware, very self-aware if my anxiety is going up and how to calm it down through breath.
Oh, good. That's good. You just breathe.
Yeah, and quiet moments throughout the day. And I do stretching in my room and prepare myself. I'm already preparing myself throughout the day when I'm doing hair and makeup.
Yeah. Actually, on that, this is a question from me. You get the most amazing dresses. You have the most fabulous hair and makeup team. What's that like? You've got this amazing room. I see it on your Instagram stories. You're just like picking which dress, which shoes. Do you love it?
Well, let me tell you my first. I'm sure it's okay to say this. My first series, I was given hair and makeup, but the lady seemed more nervous than me, and she kept singing. And I like a room, like I am next door to Tess and Claudia. Now they love music going. It's all quite bright and bubbly, and I like peace and quiet, no music, totally focused. I don't want anyone to talk to me.
I'm focused. You zone in.
Focused. That I have to be prepared. That's what I used to do when you were in finals of world championships.
Yeah.
And and this woman kept singing. I kept saying to her, darling, please don't sing. Please don't. But the next series, I couldn't have her back. She was gorgeous, but I couldn't have her back. But now I've got Alexandra who dresses me. She's going into the 3rd series with me now. So or is it the 4th series? It's the 4th one.
The 4th one now?
4th one. Amazing dresses. And Jane Burstow for hair and makeup. And Jane's more like a big sister. So when I travel abroad, she often comes with me. You know, I can request to have her, and she's great. So I have my own little team I picked.
But you do look amazing every week. But I always like, how awesome is that? You've got like so many dresses, so many shoes. Like, that's such a nice part of your day. What am I gonna wear today?
No, I have a lot of shoes, but I'm not a shoe person.
Are you not?
I'm not a shoe person at all. My mother is, my niece is.
What are you, bags or clothing, or what?
No, I'm an ankle boot and leggings type of girl, you know.
Nice.
And my little Marks and Spencer's tops, and you know, I'm not sort of like into designer labels. Of course, it's nice to have an odd piece or something like that, but it's not something I'm not a shopaholic. I can't remember.
No, I don't think I'm not really a shopaholic either at all. I do like, if I spend any money, I tend to spend money going away, going abroad, or going for dinner with friends and things like that. I like to spend my money on experiences more than things. Really?
That's 100% correct, Janette. You are absolutely correct.
I think so, because things go, but memories and moments, like, you know, they never go away. All right, we've got time for just a few more, and then I'm going to let you go and relax. How old? So, how old are you? This is from... Say again?
Hi, Maisie. Just a lady.
I know there's so many people on. It's amazing. This question is, I mean, I know you were quite young, but I want everybody to hear the story. How old were you when you first started dancing? How did that happen? That story is such a beautiful story.
Well, I'm kind of a pain in the arse child, my mother said, and always screaming in the edge of the pram. So at 4 years old, she took me to ballet and tap, which she still has those same ballet shoes. And then at 7 years old, I was going to the Girl Guides, and I could hear this music. Actually, it was Wheels, the cha-cha. That was the song. I remember pulling myself up to look into the classroom, and it was an adult class. And I just opened the door, and I said to the gentleman, Vic Knox, I said to him, will you be doing anything like this for children? He goes, we have our first children's class on Saturday. And I took myself along. We didn't have much money, and hardly any, actually. And I'd walk there and walk back. It was quite a long way for a little girl. And that was when it started. And the only time I've ever had off for dancing is when I gave birth to my son.
Really? And then he started dancing. So dancing is literally your whole life. It's like a part of every aspect of your life.
Well, for me, it's about music. I mean, you can be everywhere, and if your music's going, your foot starts tapping, or like working out in the mornings and playing all the golden oldies, and it just so uplifting.
Oh, this morning, what were you listening to this morning? I was a Dino Washington girl this morning.
Well, I was a little bit of Glenn Campbell today, because Danny's dad likes Glenn Campbell, so I thought, let me get acquainted with that. So when I meet Danny's dad, I'm a little bit more
ready. When are you meeting his father? Soon?
As soon as this virus, they tell us that we can travel. But I stick to the rules. I'm not a rule breaker. You know, I've just cancelled all my trips to Italy, because even if the coronavirus does subside, I'm not comfortable to go to any countries where it might happen, you know.
Because everything is so uncertain. It's much better to be safe than sorry at the moment.
We just don't know where we're going right now. So I keep an optimistic approach. And if Strictly goes on, I'd be absolutely thrilled. But it's always working out anywhere to music. Just put your earphones in and get immersed in the music. I did, my mum said, my life. So
the music, it's true, because I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is put music on. Or as soon as I'm done watching something, I'll set music on. If I'm washing the dishes, music is just a thing. And I don't know. For me, it's quite a spiritual feeling that you get with music. It's very similar to almost meditating. When you get lost in a song, or lost in a rhythm, or lost in a piece, even if it's instrumental, for me, it's quite unexplainable, that feeling that you get off of it, you know. But I guess that's where the artistry comes out. That's why you're an artist, and that's why you know.
I think the only thing other for me than dancing would be to be able to sing. I think anyone who sing and got that kind of music in their body is also. I mean, I watch my in-law and son, and it's amazing. And I think to myself, you know, I wish I could do that. You know, I wished I could do it.
Shirley, there's always time.
I know
time. We need to talk about it. You did panto. You did acting as well not long ago for the first time.
My son and daughter-in-law flew all the way over from the United States, shriveled up in their chair, and then it came up and, oh, not too bad, mother, not too bad, not too bad.
How was, I mean, obviously you met Danny there, which is amazing, but did you enjoy the whole panto experience and acting and scripts and learning the lines and everything?
Well, the nerves in panto made me look like I had no nerves for Strictly, because that was out of my comfort zone. I've never done any actressing, I've never sung, and I've never been on the stage like that. Wow. You know, ballrooms, but not on a stage. And I found that whole experience terrifying. Lots of tears, a point where I wanted to pull out, and they said, no, you've signed your contract. Learning lines, remembering lines, being in the right place on the stage. Terrifying.
Would you do it again? Maybe? Is it in the books maybe again?
Well, they've asked me to do Blackpool at the Winter Gardens. It's the first time in 60 years that Blackpool will be putting on pantomime. I'll be playing the fairy godmother and Dad's ugly sister in Cinderella.
How fitting is that you're going to go back to Blackpool?
Hello, I've been going there since I was 7.
And
it's
now in this new aspect of your life in acting now, you're going back to Blackpool again.
Actually, that's quite interesting, I think.
I think, Shirley, you are really, and I've said it before on my Instagram, you are such an incredible woman. And I think the last thing I would want is to give you the platform to say, if you can give one piece of advice on just life in general, what would you say to everybody watching today?
I would say,
you've obviously been so amazing.
I would say to everybody today, and I had this in my life, no matter who tells you you can't, you can. And you must keep striving forward towards the goals and the dreams that you want. Because even if you get a bump in the road, bump, if you really love something, really persevere.
Go for it.
Like, nobody to look that my career was easy. It was not. You know, it was a woman in a man's world, and it was a different career. But I managed to get there once and get there again with a beginner a second time round against all the odds. 100% against the odds.
And with a son, with a child, everything.
And a child in tow, everywhere, all over the world. So, yeah.
I think I've got the name of your book when you release it. Secrets of the World Champion.
I know the title, but you can't say it right now.
What is the book? Can you say when it's going to come out, the book?
Yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to, but
okay.
Watch this space.
Watch this space, everybody. Well, I hope, fingers crossed, that I see you soon. I'd Strictly Come Dancing. Let's hope that we can all get out of this happy and healthy. I know there's lots of people that are working really, really hard in the front line for us. So just want to give them, I always give them a huge shout out, because this is just amazing what they're doing for all of us, isn't it?
Well, we love them all. We love the NHS. We love all the people that are connected and that are working. And before I leave, I would like to say,